Hi, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. All blessings, honor, glory, and power be unto the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, our Lord and our Savior, whose name is Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. My name is Amon Gabar, and I'm back with another quick lesson. This is Treadmill and Talk number 7. Lord willing is quick, fast, edifying, straight to the point. And I hope, as always, like I say, I hope the treadmill noise or sound isn't overpowering the microphone, which I go back and listen to it, little bits and parts, and it doesn't seem too distracting. So focus on the message and not the outside noise. Block out the outside noise. All right. So anyway, real quick, I think I'm gonna title this video. Let me see. I got it written down here somewhere. Damn, I lost it. Yeah, I had it written down. Let me see. Do I have it written down on this phone? Bear with me one moment. All right. So somewhere along the lines, last night was a warning. We told y'all this was going to happen, and last night was a warning. I think that's what the title was. But anyway, what I'm talking about is yesterday evening, which was Wednesday the 17th, 2026. All right, the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts, and Jacob's trouble. Around evening time, you had a global outage. YouTube went out globally. And one of the bros from the camp had sent the screenshot from his phone and made mention of it. So I checked it out for myself, of course. I was supping, having my meal for the evening. So I was like, all right, let me check my phone real quick. Checked it, and it was the same thing. The home page, I couldn't do anything. It says, retry, try again, or something like that. You seen the community post that I put up. So I couldn't do anything. I ain't panic. I was quite calm. It is what it was, or it was what it is. I was like, well, at this point, that's how we feel about it. It's like, I wasn't excited or nothing. It was just like, I was like, you know what? Hey, but in the back of my mind, I'm going to say this. I was like, hey, it's going to be a normal day, or it could be a normal day just like this. And next thing you know, you have no more access to uploading lessons, watching lessons, and whatnot. That was in the back of my mind. Even though, like, in the forefront of my mind, I was like, all right, Esau just glitching right now. Esau playing around, he just glitching. Whatever, however. So I ain't trip over that. But it is good to see. Because we know that that's going to lead to Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. And everybody should know that precept by now. All the precepts that we relate and tie into the famine of hearing the word, which that's what that precept tell you, that it's going to come a time when the Lord is going to send a famine, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And we've went into that endlessly. A matter of fact, before I forget, I just shared Elder Apostle Tahar's video in the community post. He did a quick video going into pretty much showing what his Odyssey and BitChute pages. So that's the spirit. So it's in the community post. For those of you that are not following the Apostles' Odyssey and BitChute, go follow. Because, think about it. Let's say YouTube just totally shut down. You can't post nothing in the community section. You can't upload nothing. You can't do nothing with YouTube, but just look at the monkey with the tool bag, with the utility belt, telling you, oops, an error occurred. That's all you're going to be able to look at. So there will be no way for us to share our links, our alternative links with you. So I advise you all to go and subscribe, create you an Odyssey page, a BitChute page, and go subscribe. And also too, what I'll do is link my Odyssey page in the description box. And I believe I have to make a new BitChute because I can't find my account. I don't know what email I use. I don't know. So I'm just going to start a brand new one and go from there, Lord willing. So I'm also going to do exactly, how, the elder apostle did. He pushed his BitChute and Odyssey. So Lord, I'll do the same thing, and brothers do the same thing. Because hey, Lord is merely clearing his throat, and the world's gonna panic when they can't find the truth. So what I did, I'm gonna make this quick, Lord willing. I was gonna Google it, but I'd rather get better information, more information. So I went to the chat and I typed in how many times the YouTube shut down this year. So let me see what it says. It says, here's what's known so far in 2026 about YouTube being shut down, meaning widespread outages affecting many users. This is the bulletin. It says confirmed major outages this year. So confirmed, you have number one, February 17th through the 18th, which is yesterday to today. It says 2026, YouTube experienced a widespread global outage that made the platform inaccessible or severely limited for many users across multiple countries. Users reported problems accessing videos, homepage recommendations, apps, and related services before it was restored later that same day. And that was the issue I was having. The homepage, it was tripping at the homepage. When I pressed the upload button, it showed that I had options to upload, but I didn't click on any video to upload, so I wouldn't know how that would have worked. But I did see a brother, Saints of Jersey, one of the bros out there. He had and shalom to the brother. He had uploaded a video, like a short video, in the midst of while this was down. So I'm assuming that some people were still able to upload. So he hopped on there and reported about it immediately. And that's what the watchmen do. The Lord said, I set watchmen upon thy towers. Our job is to see the danger and blow the trumpet. Scriptures say, I'm just going to quote some precepts. The scriptures say they have blown the trumpet and made all ready to the battle. I'm sorry, they have blown the trumpet. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me get it. Let me get it real quick. Book of Ezekiel 7:14. They have blown the trumpet. And the instrument, see, a trumpet is a sound or instrument used to declare what time we in. All right. The song is the word. The music being playing is coming out of the Bible. So we singing a song to the people. And the trumpet, or in this case, you could say is the unicorn, so to speak. That's the instrument that we're using, the internet. And one of the vessels is the YouTube. So we blowing the trumpet on YouTube, and not just YouTube, but many other platforms you have this word, but the main one is YouTube. That's just how the Lord set it up. It says they are blowing the trumpet, meaning they gave the warning from the apostles of GMS Great Millstone on down, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. So the all is talking about the 2/3 who's just gonna sit around, dragging their knuckles, hanging their lips and just looking dazed out and spaced out. But we warning. It says the sword is without and the pestilence and the famine within. All right, because that's what's coming. Some of these are the instruments of death, instruments of cruelty that the Lord is going to use on the left-hand side to execute vengeance upon the wicked 2/3. All right, the sword, which Esau is a sword, and he's coming with a whole lot of dangerous things. I'm gonna say it like that, weaponry. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, there was a video I seen. I'm gonna show you how Esau really gonna weaponize his technology, and not just Esau, but these other nations too. Which Esau, you know, he makes certain things, but he also have things imported, weapons imported, and all of that. So that's a video for another time. So anyway, it says the sword is without, and pestilence and famine within. So people are gonna die of diseases, die of famines, and they're gonna be out here lost in the sauce, way too far in the jar. It says, he that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. So people that are in the field, the sword. Like in modern day times, people that are in the suburbs, people that are in the sticks, a lot of times, places like those, you know, they have the 2A, and people be hoarding up the modern day sword in these states that uphold that particular constitution. They be hoarding it. They collect it like city boys collect sneakers. You know, I seen it. I see guys out here, you know, and shit like that. You know, they all about that. They all about that. But anyway, it says, Salakia says, he that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. So the pestilence, let's say the cities, the urban areas, you know, where a lot of people dwell, all stacked up on each other like sardines. You know, house after house after house, buildings after buildings after buildings. Famine is going to rock them places terribly, because the food supply is limited to be feeding all those mouths. You know, and then people going to go crazy over food. So it's just going to be crazy. I mean, you look in the hood and check out the hoods and shit, and you see project buildings all lined up for like a mile, couple miles, like a mile, you know, for like a mile, let's say. And you probably have like maybe every other block a corner store. Sometimes you have every corner is a corner store, but let's say every other block there's a corner store within a 5-block radius. That's still not enough to feed thousands of people. That's far from enough to feed thousands of people. Even if there was a corner store, and there's always that one supermarket in the neighborhood, and 5 liquor stores within that project's vicinity, 2 laundromats, 12 churches, you know, 1 school, zone school, a police station, a fire department, no libraries. You know, I mean, I could just keep naming shit. 1 park, and that shit, the hood took over that shit. You get the picture. They that in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour them. So a lot of them people they gonna catch a bad one. Everybody gonna catch a bad one except the Lord's elect. So I just wanted to get that. Let me read on. It says, reports say hundreds of thousands of users were affected at the peak. The outage was related to a problem with YouTube's recommendation system and lasted roughly a few hours before services were restored. Yeah, okay. Maybe they shut down the recommendation system to not recommend our videos, which they've been doing that. You know, it was probably a shutdown to do something. Like, we got to shut this down to reboot and rewire the system to not recommend these Israelites videos. You know, just a scenario. Wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, it says early outage in 2026, ? Looking at summaries of past Google service problems, a major YouTube outage did occur in October 2025, not 2026. So October 2025, October, November, December, January, and then we in the month of February. So 4 months later, another major YouTube outage. Now, I remember this one. If you check our timeline, maybe we probably mentioned it. You know, like we doing now. Blowing the trumpet, but who's making ready to the battle? It says there aren't widely reported multiple full shutdowns or outages for YouTube so far in 2026, besides the February incident, at least based on available major news reporting. So how many times did YouTube shut down this year, which the year just started? As of mid-February 2026, there has been one major confirmed widespread outage that significantly disrupted YouTube for many users. Smaller glitches or regional issues might happen, but they haven't been widely reported as a full shutdown like the one in February. So this was a bigger one. This is a major one. Major global YouTube outage. So that's it. That's all I'm going to speak on that. That's all I'm going to say on that. And get another one, 2 Ezra 16 and 40. It says, matter of fact, 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, Yasharallah, the Israelites, hear my word. We only talking to the elect. You know, 2/3 ain't gonna get it. And the 2/3 are making themselves clear and known that they part of 2/3. They don't want to hear the word. The ones that are taking heed, chances are those are the ones that are the elect. Just got to make it to the end, endure to the end. So anyway, it says, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. You know, we gird it up mentally, spiritually, constantly elevating in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and growing, you know, preparing for what's next. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those days, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. You know, pilgrims aren't stationary. You know, pilgrims are constantly on the move. You know, we can't have our mind stationed here in Babylon. We got to be, our mind first and foremost got to be as pilgrims. And then physically, we got to up and be ready to just move and bounce and follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's guidance physically when that time comes, even now. But we got to be as our forefathers, because this is just, even being here in America is just a pilgrimage prior to us entering into the kingdom. You know, so we could say we were pilgrims since we were casted out of our homeland, you know, during the diaspora, and we were dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, mainly here in Babylon the Great, in the Western Hemisphere. Ever since then, it's been notably significant that we are pilgrims, the true Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We're pilgrims. This ain't our rest. And the pilgrim is also one searching for a miracle. One seeking a holy place, searching for a miracle. When you go into the etymology, that's what it's going to say. You know, and our forefathers relied on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai all the way, seeking miracles, waiting for the miracles to unfold, and trusting in the Lord. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Last night was a warning from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And if that's the case, you know, brothers are going to have to eventually go back on BitChute, Odyssey, and things like that, just like we did in 2020. 2020 is a whole lot of videos. If you go to my Odyssey, and I'm sure the Apostle Tars too, and all the apostles, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakah, Apostle Round Live, and the elder bishops on down, the majority of videos, you're going to see a lot from 2020 and 2021, because that's when it was banning us and censoring us and clipping out videos and pages. Brothers lost pages in 2020. I lost a page in, I think it was 2020 or 2021. And then another one a couple years after. So I lost 2 pages just in that time frame, but plenty pages prior to 2020, just off of just raw uploads and stuff like that. But it's what it is. It is what it is. Get this word while you can. So I'm ended there. Give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me the truth. And salutations to the elect. Shalom.